and they think they have a team to do it, but this week and the game against Hillcrest are big ones for them.
Sure, they got to stop somebody.
Yes, they do.
They know they can score, but they got to stop somebody.
Yes. On the complete opposite end of the spectrum, Westside continues to cruise. They beat easily 39-7 last week.
I watched they were not world beaters in the first half in that ball game. I saw it on TV.
Yeah.
And it took them a while to get it together, but they were coming off, a couple of up games for them. So I guess to have a little letdown on the road, that was all right.
Yeah, it was. That was, they're coming off a win against Hillcrest, which was double overtime. Excuse me. And I was expecting there to be a little bit of a lull that first half for them because that was an emotional game for them. And it happened, but they were able to survive it, and their defense kept them in it, in my opinion.
Okay. But, yeah, as I was watching it, I got to thinking they're winning more with defense than they are with anything else. Although they still got that great quarterback, the running back, and a couple of really good receivers.
Yeah, that's been the biggest surprise I think for them this year is that they're winning with defense right now. I think the most anyone has scored on them this year is 12 points, and that was Hillcrest.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, their offense is good, but that defense, I think they're definitely going to have some all-region candidates on that defense, and they may even have an all-stater on that defense. I think Dre Gaines is definitely one to watch at linebacker. He could definitely be that all-state guy if he continues playing the way he is because he's a tackling machine. But this week, Westside wraps up their 3-game road trip to the region. They go to Greenville at Serene Stadium, and this is a game that Westside should win.
Yeah, they should win it as big as they want to win it. It depends on what Coach Early and his staff, and this sounds bad to say, they could probably run it up. It's kind of amazing. I saw where somebody scored 73 points in a 48-minute high school game. And 70 is kind of a norm nowadays, and it's 48 minutes. I don't see Westside doing that kind of thing, even though they might be capable this week.
I don't think they're going to score 70 at all. They have the capabilities, as you said, to do that.
Yeah.
But they're still trying to figure out their running game. The last few weeks, until last week, their running game was struggling a little bit. So looks like they got it rolling a little bit there against Easley. Greenville, I've watched them. It's not their year. They have a good quarterback, a good wide receiver. They like to run that really high-paced, no-huddle offense where they can gas a defense if they get going.
Well, that's great if you're what you do though, and what I think they've done. They've done this, and they're full of 3 and outs.
Yeah,
and so now your defense is on the field more than it should be, and that's why you're giving up so many points like they are, 40, 50 a game.
That's the exact reason why Greenville's struggling is that they can run plays fast, but if it's not working, your defense is out there in 15 seconds.
That's right.
And that's kind of how their season is going. Granted, Westside will have to do a job to stop their quarterback. He is a good quarterback. But defensively, Greenville, I don't think they have the athletes to hold up against Westside. Jyston Kendrick last week really came out. I believe he set the school record for receptions in a game with 12. Probably his best game of the year so far. And, they give Easley credit. They held Matthew Martin to very minimal damage. But then you have a guy like Jyston Kendrick step up.
So you got another weapon.
Yeah.
So you say, well, we're not going to let this – we're going to make this guy beat us. And they did.
Yes. So got to give credit to Easley for doing their game plan. But also give credit to Westside for finding another guy that they can use. And, Kendrick's been one of those guys that he's an early favorite on my watch list for the all-area athlete position because he can run it and catch it. So, very dangerous weapon for them. Greenville this is a game Westside should win. They should stay undefeated, and I wouldn't.
And hope nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, that's the big one out of this game like this because next week, as you said, they play Lawrence. That's going to be a physical ball game.
And that is at Westside, I think.
That is at Westside.
Yeah,
and
that'll help.
And that game is also on the eve of a Greenwood game. So
yeah.
After this week, Westside's schedule really picks back up with key 3-game stretch with Lawrence, Greenwood, and ending it with Hannah. So
yeah.
Definitely need to get a must-win here for them to stay undefeated and stay in the top 10 of the state. But while that was a good game, the game of the week did not disappoint last week where I was, down in Honey Path for the Bears and Daniel.
I was shocked. I really was. I saw that thing when it came over, and I looked, and I said, holy smoke. Daniel came alive for a change. Mm-hmm. And that really, I was just shocked.
You were not the only one. I was expecting a much lower scoring ball game. It's no secret BHP and Daniel are not known for explosive offenses. They are known for running the ball and playing hard-nosed defense. Well, one of those showed up last Friday, but the latter did not.
Goodness. 40 points apiece, like 47.
It was 48-47 for the final.
Yeah, yeah.
As we said, the Daniel was, I think, mere inches away from pulling that one out of the fire. If linebacker Jostin Davis does not get a finger on Ben Batson's pass, that is likely a completion for a 2-point conversion and a win for Daniel.
Yeah.
That's
boy, they need a win, too.
They do. They have just not – it's been a rough year for them, but I will say it was an outstanding ball game if you wanted to watch one because it kept going back and forth in the fourth quarter, and you think one team has it, and then the other one comes and –
You worked the sidelines on that one? Oh,
I did.
You did?
I was on the sidelines for that one, and that was it was an up and down ball game, a lot of emotion on both sidelines, and early candidate, that was that one moved to the top of the list for game of the year so far for me because that was two outstanding ball clubs, and Ben Batson really showed me a lot that game. I think he was responsible for 7 touchdowns in that game as a sophomore.
Yeah.
And but I'd be remiss if I did not bring up the job of Cameron Burton. Rushed for over 100 yards, passed for over 100. I think he was responsible for 5 touchdowns for BHP. And then also Juwan Abney. He had a monster game, way over 100 yards, a touchdown. But Russell Blackston, being a former offensive lineman, he knew who to give the praise for that one. The BHP offensive line actually really stepped up for that one.
I've always thought they're the most important people on the field.
They are.
I went many years ago. I was somewhere, and a coach, a high school coach, was having early meeting with his team, and his little toddler daughter was out there, mm-hmm. And he said, "Come here, honey," and he handed her that football, and he said to go over there, and he said, "See, she's not even maybe it's a year old, a year and a quarter." Said, "But it's not heavy." She can carry it. But if somebody gets in her way, she can't. Yeah. And he was trying to make a point to everybody how important the offensive line is.
And Russell Blackson, like I said, as an old offensive lineman, he put the game on their shoulders in that second half. And third quarter, BHP came up really big in that third quarter, and that was the difference in the game, really.
Yeah.
So big credit to them. Big win for them in a big game. They have another big one this Friday at Seneca. Number 4.
You going that one?
No, I'll be staying at home for that one. We have our freelancer Will Vandervoort, who
okay, yeah.
Many of your listeners may know. He's a Clemson beat writer for the Clemson Insider, I believe. Mm-hmm. Very good guy, very capable, knows what he's doing. So that game is in good hands. But that's number 4 against number 6 in the state in 3A. So it's going to be a monster game.
Yeah.
A lot of eyes of the state are going to be on that. BHP, that's a tough place to play up at Tom Bass Field. But I think it'll be a good game. Matchup of 2 great running backs in Juwan Abney and Braxton Gambrell from Seneca.
Yeah.
Should be a good one. I think it will be. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think it'll be a high-scoring game again. So maybe it'll be a low-scoring game.
Well, both of them can score. That's pretty obvious. And they seem as if they're going to be fairly even, too.
I think so. I might give a little bit of an edge at quarterback to Seneca just because Elijah Turner is really looking like he's starting to find his comfort level passing the ball. They typically throw for about 200 yards a game. That's not something BHP typically does.
Yeah.
But offensive line, I'd give the edge to BHP. Defense, it's even. So it should be a good game.
Yeah, it should be. And I hope we're not disappointed.
I hope not, and I don't think we will be.
My friend Joel Kay does the BHP broadcast and has for over 40 years. And I'm sure he sometimes he gets so excited, even at this age of him, going to jump out of the booth. So he'll have a great game up there, I'm sure, for whatever they're calling WRIX now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, another big story coming out of the Western 3-0 is that even though BHP and Daniel combined for over 90 points, one team in the area almost did that by themselves last week. The Palmetto Mustangs.
They scored, yeah, that's right. There's one of the team scored 70.
72. Walhalla scored 14. It was 35-0 after the first quarter. So the Mustangs were absolutely rolling that game. And they needed that win. They had lost the last three to BHP, Daniel, and Seneca. As we said last week, that Murderers Row, they weren't too badly hurt for that one, but this was a must-win game for them.
Yeah,
and the schedule favors them right now with Walhalla last week, West Oak and Pickens the next 2 weeks. Those are two winnable games, like we said.
Yeah.
They win those, they are right back in the playoff hunt with a little bit of help. Possibly they can make that 4 seed.
Okay, all right.
Like I said, they got West Oak this week at West Oak. The Warriors have not won a game yet this year.
Yeah. They went 2 or 3 games without scoring, didn't they?
They went 3 games without scoring.
Yeah.
So this is another game that Palmetto has a good shot to win, I think. So congratulations to Doug Shaw and his staff for keeping that team together through that 3-game losing streak, because those were tough losses. They scored 9 points, 7 points, and 13 points through those 3 games. So we'll see how they do this week. And finally, in the Western 3A, Wren, like we said, West Oak is coming in with another loss. They lost 57-17 against Wren last week.
Yeah.
A better showing for the Warriors scoring-wise, but, Wren's not really known for their defense. They're getting better as the season gets going, but this isn't BHP or Seneca or Daniel with programs that are known for defense.
Yeah.
Wren's known for offense, and they got their offense going last week. And so and now this week they'll get Walhalla at Walhalla. So, again, another winnable game for Wren to keep them in the region in the playoff hunt as well. Only problem for them is that after Walhalla, they get BHP. So, another big game. That in 2 weeks, another week from now. So, again, just big games almost every week, it seems like, in Western 3A.
Sure, because it is one of the, I used to say it was the toughest of the 3A conferences. I don't know enough about the others anymore to know. But it has always been tough, no matter who comes in and out. Somebody drifts out and somebody drifts in. I remember a few years back, Greenville was in that conference when they were tough. Mm-hmm. And we went through a spell where Pickens was real tough. So, and Seneca and BHP and Daniel have been the standard bearers for that league for a long time.
Yeah, and sadly that will not be the case next year with BHP, Wren, and Daniel moving to 4A. But Seneca's staying there. Pendleton is moving in, and Crescent's going to move into that one as well. So I think it'll still be a very competitive region next year. Probably not as tough as it is right now, but still a lot of good quality ball games I think will come out of that region next year. Region 1 4A next year, that one might be the new Western 3A, because that one looks like a monster region with, as we said, BHP, Wren, Daniel, Pickens, and Greenville are in that region. So
yeah.
I'm sad to see the Western 3A go like it is, but
times they are changing.
I'm interested to see a Pendleton-Seneca matchup. I think that'll be a good game next year.
Right.
But speaking of Pendleton, moving down to Skyline 2A, they're coming off a rivalry win over Powdersville, 45-27.
Well, they were angry because of the week before.
I would. That'd be a very safe bet. Losing 40-14 to Woodruff may have that effect on you.
Wolverines, yeah.
I know Paul Sutherland was not happy after that Woodruff loss, and from what I was told, the team did not play happy with Powdersville. The last few years, that game has gotten closer scoring wise. This year, the Bulldogs blew that one open in the second half. A good win for Pendleton. It keeps them at least alive for a shot to get a tie-break situation possibly with Woodruff and maybe get some help and have Woodruff lose twice somehow. But I doubt that's going to happen.
Lots of luck.
Lots of luck for that to happen. But, they're doing what they can to at least stay in the race and at least host a playoff game with a 2 seed. So
Okay.
Still a lot to play for them, and this week they have